Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So in today's video, we're going to be fast forwarding a little bit to the 2026 midterms because it's never really too early to start talking about what lies ahead. And obviously we have 2 years ahead of us. Donald Trump has a trifecta in order to push his agenda through Congress, which includes the House, it includes the Senate. And I'm sure we'll be talking about the House eventually for 2026. And it would appear that it's unlikely Republicans hold it unless Trump is able to remain popular and he's able to pass things through and you kind of get rid of some of this, intra-party fighting that you see in the Republican House. But in terms of the Senate map once again is favorable for Republicans, and we've talked about this because Republicans hold just 4 out of the 14 Senate seats that are in toss-up states, or I guess you would say the battleground states from 2024, some of which, like Arizona and Nevada, are showing signs of becoming more and more Republican. They may be unwinnable for the Democrats by then just based off of voter registration data. So I thought, why not just look at the next group of Senate elections? Can Republicans possibly expand their Senate majority even in a midterm year where Republicans do occupy the White House? Now, keep in mind, in 2018, Republicans did expand in the Senate. In 2022, Democrats held the White House with an unpopular president, and they were able to expand their Senate majority this time around. Can Republicans do the same? I think the answer is yes, but in terms of a prediction, we're going to fill this map out. All the 35 Senate races that are going to be up for grabs come 2026. We'll see how they exactly end up going. But first, I have to tell you guys about our latest sponsor over at Orion Metals.
America, listen up. Are you tired of watching the government gamble with your hard-earned retirement savings? Inflation's out of control, the national debt keeps climbing, and foreign powers like BRICS and illegal immigration are pushing the US dollar weaker and pushing the cost of everyday goods higher. Here's the kicker, though. During Trump's first term, gold prices skyrocketed. They doubled in value. That's right, gold doubled. What if it happens again? Are your retirement savings ready to handle what's coming? This is why you need Orion Metal Exchange. They're America's highest rated precious metals IRA by Retirement Living, and they give you more metal for your money. Imagine converting your IRA or 401k into gold and silver, real physical wealth that you can count on no matter what. Don't wait until it's too late. Take control of your future today. Call Orion Metal Exchange now at 888-625-8775 and get your free investor's guide. It is packed with the information you need to protect your retirement savings. You've worked too hard to leave your future up to chance. Call 888-625-8775. Do it now. Orion Metal Exchange is here to help you secure your wealth and stand strong as a proud conservative American. Now back to the video.
All right, guys, so let's fill this map out. We're going to be starting off with the safe red Senate seats, the seats that are going to be going Republican by 10 points or more, no matter what. And I know it's a little bit early in terms of some of these margins. This is the first official 2026 prediction we're going to be doing, but I do believe Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia should all be in the safe Republican column. I think South Carolina, you can put that one in the safe Republican column. Florida, just because of how the state is nowadays, Rubio is going to be going into Trump's cabinet. We don't know who's going to be appointed to that Senate race there, but I do believe Florida, that should be already out of the gate a safe red Senate seat. So we do see that there. And in terms of the Democrat seats, I think Oregon, that one will be safe blue. Illinois probably will be safe blue. Delaware, I think you could say Rhode Island, Massachusetts, those will be safe blue, as well as the state of Colorado. And obviously, as time goes on, we might be able to move some of the margins around just a little bit, as we know. But already Republicans have 47 Senate seats just with the safe states alone. We're talking about how the map goes. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is going to be like a red wave midterm. Trump's in the White House. I do think it's going to be more like a reverse 2022 compared to something like a 2018, which, for numerous reasons, was not really the best year for Republicans. And a lot of it didn't have to do with Trump specifically, although Democrats had the energy factor at a time when they were increasingly increasingly becoming that high propensity party, and they were able to make some gains that, were not obviously sustainable. If you look at the 2020 House races, where Republicans still gained like a dozen seats in the House, despite not doing all that well at the popular vote at the presidential level, and even at the House level, to be honest. So we'll now move to the likely Republican seats, the states that are going to be going between like 5 and 10%. And obviously this could change. Like Ohio, I think that, Sherrod Brown, if he decides to run again, which I'm not sure he will, in a special election, I think he could make it close, but I don't think he's going to do as well as he did when he was an incumbent. Obviously, the state has changed a lot. It's possible that it does go red by over 10 at the end of the day. We're just not quite there yet. And then we have the state of Iowa. Joni Ernst, could she be primaried? It's very possible. Either way, she's going to be forced to fall in line if not. And we'll see what happens there. But, you talk about these states, very high white working class population. They're very, heavy Trump-only voters in those states, although I do think at a midterm year with Trump in the White House, enough of them will come out. Obviously, those states are still not competitive. The math is not on the Democrat side whatsoever, and both states have competent Republican parties to the point where they can get voters out. Also, Texas, maybe even safe. It just depends what happens. Cornyn could very well be primary challenged out of there. We're not quite there yet. Either way, he's going to be forced to fall in line as much as possible. I still think that that Senate race is not going to be flippable for the Democrats. Could it end up being a safe margin? Possibly. Could it end up being maybe a little closer at the end of the day? Yes. And then Alaska. Again, you never know what's going to happen margin-wise. It's a weird system, but I think that you're going to see Sullivan win, even if Peltola runs against him in the state of Alaska. So we'll move on to the likely Democrat Senate seats. We got Minnesota. It's really no surprise there. I think that Tina Smith is going to hold on. I don't really know who's on the Republican bench that would run against her. I think it's going to be under 10. I don't think it's going to be like a ridiculous amount under 10, though. And then you have the state of Virginia, where you have Mark Warner up again. I don't think Glenn Youngkin is going to run for that Senate seat. I do think he might be able to make it a bit more competitive if he did. I don't know who the Republicans are going to put up, but I do think it's probably going to be like a 7-point win for Mark Warner, even if we do agree that the state of Virginia is indeed turning a corner. Also, the state of New Jersey. This was a much closer state than anybody anticipated. We don't know what's going to happen. Cory Booker, could he face a strong challenger that could possibly get the race within 10? Absolutely. I think the state is showing signs of turning a corner. When you have high enough turnout, you can see that. Certain demographics in northern New Jersey and parts of southern New Jersey, basically everywhere except like the Turnpike area, are moving vastly to the right. And we saw that Donald Trump went from losing the state by 17 to losing it by less than 6 in just 4 years' time. Does that mean it's going to be red in 2026 or 2028? I'm not ready to go there yet, obviously, depending on what happens, but still, it could be closer than people expect just because of those trends. Also, the state of New Mexico, similar situation, a lot of Hispanic voters there. Trump only fell short in the state by around 6. I do think that it's possible in 2028 that Republicans could, but I think in 2026 that Senate seat is going to stay in Democrat hands by over 5 points. Maybe not much above that, but over 5. So we have 5 Senate races remaining that will go in either the tilt or the lean column for either side. We're going to start off with Maine. I'm no fan of Susan Collins. I think primarying her out is a waste of time because you would basically just be wasting resources you could be using to primary other people in races where the primary challengers could win to elect some Democrat. That being said, I think Collins probably is going to win anyways. She always finds a way. The polls had her losing by like double digits, and she almost won by double digits back in the 2020 election. I think she's probably going to win by maybe a tilt to lean margin. I'll say lean. It depends on who the candidate's going to be, but I think Collins is going to hold on in Maine. This probably is going to be her last term anyways. We'll see what happens past that point. Then we go to New Hampshire. This is a very intriguing one because Republicans likely are going to run Scott Brown again, who almost won the race in 2014. He's a strong candidate. That being said, so is Shaheen. If she does actually go through with her plan to run for re-election, which there's been talk she might not, I think she's favored. I do think that if Donald Trump is super popular, like he shoots up, he's got an approval rating in the high 50s come 2022, which is kind of unprecedented, but, you know, Donald Trump is getting more and more popular. Yeah, it's possible if everything goes right, Republicans could pick that state off because they did recruit a somewhat decently strong challenger there, but still I would have to say Democrats are favored to a certain degree at the moment. So then we will go down to North Carolina. Tom Tillis is running for re-election. He's not really all that solid for one. He may be facing a primary, at least a primary threat. I think he probably does end up winning a primary, but partially because he's being forced to vote in line with the Trump agenda. And he will likely be facing Roy Cooper, and it's entirely possible that Roy Cooper could mount a strong challenge. I do think Roy Cooper is also overrated. I think that Tom Tillis is going to end up winning that race probably by like 1 to 2 points regardless. If it's somebody else like Wiley Nickel, I think he ends up winning it by a little bit more than that. So then we go to the state of Georgia. John Ossoff, who's like all over the place, is running for re-election. Brian Kemp, the governor, who I'm not the biggest fan of, a lot of legitimate criticism, but he's going to be unbeatable in a primary because he is popular. We saw that try, didn't work. He's probably going to run. He's probably going to end up winning the general election as well, I believe, especially because you have lower black turnout in the midterms. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to probably narrowly avoid a runoff as well in the state of Georgia. You're going to see that happen. He's going to prevail by 1 to 2 points or so. And then we could go to the state of Michigan, where Gary Peters, who not a lot of people know, but he knows how to whip votes for him in terms of the people that show up for him on election day in these unions. He will be running for re-election against an unknown Republican, and it's possible Republicans could pick off the governorship given the fact it very likely could be a three-way race, and that possibly could have effects down ballot that could help Republicans in a Senate race, but it could also have the opposite effect. Either way, I think Michigan, Gary Peters will be favored because Republicans, they don't have the strongest bench there. I'd say he's favored between 2 to 5 points right now, but you never know. It could be a very close race. So anyways, guys, this is going to be the first Senate prediction yet. We have the Republicans at 54, Democrats at 46. They will have a net gain of 1, according to this prediction, in the 2026 midterms, but we're not there yet. A lot can happen. But anyways, guys, make sure you guys like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.